The evening sun sank below the horizon of San Francisco, turning the sky golden and purple. Daniel Carter stood at the panoramic window of his apartment, watching the lights of the city gradually come on. At the age of 42, he has achieved everything he once dreamed of: a successful technology startup, luxury apartments, and a wife, Emma, whose smile once filled his life with light. They met 7 years ago at a charity event. Emma, then a 25-year-old aspiring architect, argued heatedly about climate policy, and her confidence won Daniel over. A year later, they got married, confident that together they could overcome any challenges. But lately, it's like a wall has grown between them. Emma was increasingly late at work, and her messages became short and distant. Daniel told himself it was just fatigue before launching her new project, an eco-friendly resort in Napa. However, the uneasy feeling did not disappear. "Are you staying up late again? What is it?" he asked one evening, watching Emma put on an elegant black dress. She didn't look up. "Dinner with clients. Marcus thinks I should impress the investors." Daniel nodded, though his inner unease only increased. That night, he couldn't sleep for a long time. His thoughts were racing, but he decided not to jump to conclusions. The next day, during a meeting, his phone vibrated. A message from an old friend. "Ryan, we need to talk. It's urgent." They met in a small bar near the waterfront. Ryan looked tense. "What happened?" Daniel asked, sitting down across from her. Ryan paused, twirling the whiskey glass in his hands. "I saw Emma yesterday. She was with Marcus at the Silver Vine Hotel." Daniel's heart sank. "Are you sure?" Ryan nodded. "I just thought you should know." Daniel didn't say anything. Emotions were fighting inside him. Doubt, anger, fear. Late in the evening, when Emma returned home, he heard the smell of cigar smoke on her clothes. Lying in the dark, he tried to find an explanation, but doubts wouldn't let him rest. A few days have passed. The following Friday, Emma said again that she had a business meeting. Daniel decided to make sure for himself. He followed her in his car and saw her enter the hotel. Daniel took a deep breath, feeling the tension tightening in his chest. There were no more questions. He was going to meet with Emma to demand answers. Instead, he chose a darker path, one that was dictated by rage and a thirst for justice. The hotel was in semi-darkness. The shadows from the chandeliers swayed, eavesdropping on the whispers of the guests. The receptionist escorted him upstairs, her heels tapping a steady rhythm on the marble floor. A woman was waiting outside the door at number 15, her silhouette softly outlined against the candles. Alina turned around, her smile fading. "Daniel?" He froze. She wasn't a stranger. She was Emma's sister. The air in the room became viscous, saturated with the scent of vanilla candles and approaching fear. Alina pressed her hand to her lips, her green eyes, so similar to Emma's, widened in horror. "What are you doing here?" she whispered, pulling on a silk robe. Daniel staggered, hitting his back against the dresser. A picture frame of the sisters, taken in a vineyard, fell off the wall. The glass shattered into pieces. "Do you work here?" The words came out of his mouth almost in disgust. Alina shuddered. "It's not what you think. I needed money. For my studies, for my mother's medical treatment." "Does Emma know?" She looked away, her cheeks flushed. The answer was obvious. "I found out a month ago," Alina confessed in a barely audible voice. "And she threatened to tell everyone if I didn't keep quiet. About them." "About whom?" She gripped the armrest of her chair, her confidence evaporating. "About Marcus. And others." Daniel paled. "He's not just her business partner, Daniel. He's holding her hostage. The resort they're building is a cover. Other people's money passes through it. When Emma tried to log out of the game, he threatened to post the photos." "My." Daniel clenched his fists, desperately trying to collect his thoughts. Everything was falling into place now. Her late-night meetings, her evasive answers, the way Marcus's name came up in every conversation. She didn't choose this path. She was forced. Without answering, he turned around and left. Alina's worried voice could be heard behind him, but he was already dialing Ryan's number. "I need everything you have on Marcus Klein. Urgently." By morning, his office was full of documents. Bank statements, offshore accounts, encrypted emails obtained by Ryan. Marcus's empire turned out to be a house of cards based on fear and manipulation. And Emma, his Emma, was just a bargaining chip. The door creaked. She was standing in the doorway. Her shirt was rumpled, and her eyes were red from crying. "Daniel, what's it?" He didn't look up. "I know about Marcus, and about your sister." She froze. "I can explain." "Explain?" He slammed down on the table. The papers scattered. "You let him ruin Alina's life. You lied to me. For months." Emma covered her face with her hands. Her shoulders trembled. "I was trying to protect her. He said he would destroy us both if I spoke. And you were so far away, Daniel. I was afraid of losing you too." Something in her voice made him clench his fists. She wasn't the cocky woman who had gone out into the night the last time. In front of him stood a frightened, exhausted Emma who had nowhere else to run. They talked until dawn. She confessed everything. How Marcus lured her into his network, how control gradually turned into a threat. One night, she saw Alina's name on the hotel guest list. "I thought if I just played along, I could fix everything," she whispered. But every step only made the situation worse. Daniel hesitantly reached out his hand, covering her icy fingers. "We will fix it, together." The next 72 hours turned into a frenzied maelstrom of meetings, forged documents, and secret negotiations. Ryan hacked into Marcus' servers, discovering evidence that would be enough for a dozen verdicts. Alina agreed to testify, regaining strength in her voice. Emma fought too, turning her guilt into determination. On Monday, they struck. Marcus was caught having a late breakfast at the Silver Vine. His smug expression froze as the agents burst onto the terrace. The news picked up the scandal, turning it into a major sensation. A rich entrepreneur, dark schemes, hotels with dubious reputations. Emma's name did not appear in the headlines. She helped the investigation, but remained in the shadows. The victory was bitter. Daniel found her on the balcony that night. "He's in the past," she said softly. "But the feeling that it's not over doesn't go away." He stood next to her, looking out at the lights of the city. "What now?" Emma turned to him, her gaze searching for an answer. "I need time. I need to be worthy of you again." He nodded. Love wasn't enough. While, but there was still hope among the ruins. The epilogue. 3 months later, Daniel sold the penthouse. Emma moved into a loft next to a new office, the walls of which were covered with drawings of honest projects. Sometimes they met for coffee. The conversations were careful, and there was a shadow of the past in them. Alina enrolled in law school. Her laughter sounded lighter now, more freely. One day, while sorting through the boxes, Daniel came across an old sketch. The tree with their initials hidden in its branches. On the back was written, "Thank you for seeing me." He smiled, folded the drawing, and stepped out into the new day.